Hi guys, Rebecca from Inbox Academy here. I'm so excited for who we have on our channel today, which is Sarah Turner. She is the creator of Write Your Way to Freedom and Corsia Collective. She is also a dear friend of mine. We have known each other for a long time and we've been through some different seasons of life while we've been in each other's lives, right? So I'm so excited you're
Mhm.
here today.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited you guys are doing this. Like
Yeah.
just in general, putting your information and your knowledge out there online. It's awesome. So
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you. So we
Yeah.
met when I first joined Write Your Way to Freedom, and that
Hmm.
was, gosh, 5 5 years ago? I think almost 6 years ago, actually. It was like
Okay.
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Wow.
reached out to you as a single mom and
Mhm.
struggling and looking for something to help me be, more active and involved in my children's lives as they grow up. And that's where we connected, and I'm so you know already, I tell you all the time how grateful I am for just all of your advice and your love and all the things that you poured into the courses that you've created and into me individually. So I'm super grateful for that. But when I met you and was talking with you, you were not a mama yet. So there was a
Mm.
different we were in different seasons of life at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you
Yeah. And
are.
now I'm pregnant with my third. I don't know if you heard, it's a girl. We thought it was a boy. Oh yeah, you did.
I did. I commented on your Instagram. I was like, "Shut up."
No, I laughed so hard at that.
Because you told
So I got
me before
boy.
that on one of our calls, and you were
Mhm.
like, "It's another boy," and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, you have, like, a whole football team basically now."
I know. So
Yeah.
it's so fun. Yeah, right, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we got some genetic testing back, and I noticed it said, like, gender is a girl, and I was like, "What?" Because we had a sneak peek and an ultrasound, but apparently the umbilical cord it was at this the ultrasound techs were reminding each other how to use the ultrasound machine, so they were not the most experienced, I think. But yeah, then we found out, so surprise, so 2 boys, 1, 2, and then it'll be a girl in April, so we're doing it, we're in the thick of it.
Oh my
But
gosh.
yeah,
I
having
have
fun.
a big brother, and let me tell you, she is going to be
I'm
so taken
excited.
care of and protected by those 2 boys. If a boy even looks in her direction, they're probably going down.
I think it's so good for boys to have to have sisters, like, I don't know, I just have that, and I also am really excited for Ben to have a daughter, like, I'm just
No.
like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Boys need girls now.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
like Ben was like, "Why don't you feel about the other way around?" I was like, "'Cause it's a man's world, we're good. We don't need you, but, like, y'all need us."
We don't need you,
He
but
was like,
you're good to have around.
yeah, no, for sure, like, I'm not a, like I
Yeah.
love men, but, like, I'm like, you know, I'm really glad my boys will have a sister, and I'm really glad Ben will have a daughter, and obviously, I'm excited as well, so, anyway,
I
super
think there's
exciting, but yeah.
just something about, like, boys I actually it's funny because, I have 2 older kids, a boy and a girl. So I raised a boy and a girl next to each other, and it was beautiful because when they were super little, it was like, "Okay, like, you want your brother to play Tea Party with you, but he wants you to play trains. So you have to go in his room with his train table, and you have to I'll set a timer, and you play trains, and then, like, your brother will then go with you and play Tea Party for a little bit." Of course, she's, like, all into the trains, and then you see him in their tea party, he's, like, super grumpy sipping from his teacup. But, like, it was good growing up because they learned how to, like, compromise. He learned how to be gentle with her and loving
Mhm.
towards her and, like, let her go first and be a gentleman. But I actually haven't gotten what you have of, like, the 2 boys. So now I'm remarried, and we just had a boy, and he's 11 months old, and we're trying for another one. And I want another boy because 'cause I'm like, I want them to be able to, like, wrestle and, like, all the
Yes.
boy stuff, so
Every day, Bennett is like, "When is Asher gonna be old enough to wrestle?" He just, like, goes up to him, he's like, "Ah." I'm like, "He has to be able to say, 'Yes, I want to wrestle,' for you to wrestle him." He has to
yeah.
consent. Otherwise, Bennett just comes up and, like, shoves him, and I'm like, "Buddy, come on."
Yeah, such boys. I thought we could talk a little bit about how did being a mom change business for you, and obviously life in big ways, but Is there some ways you can share with us that it was just like, "Whoa, this is so different now?"
I mean, it changed everything. It changed who I am, it changed what I value, like, it
Yeah.
changed so much. Um, so I always grew up thinking that I would want to, like, work and have kids, and also, I have to say that I never really wanted to be a mom
Mm,
for most of my life. I really think, though, that came from a place of just knowing that I had, like, a lot of healing to do before I was, like, ready to be a mom, really, and that's how it kinda came out, so I was like, "I don't wanna be a mom," and so once I got to a better place in my life, I was like, "Actually, I do want that for myself," and then yeah, I mean, the thing about not having kids is, like, you have so much time, and you don't realize it, and you think you don't have time, and it's very funny, and it's also so funny because I used to get so annoyed, especially at my older sister, but also people in general who would be like, "You just don't get it." You know what I mean? To people who don't have kids. I was like, "I think I get it." Like, it's like and so I know that that's, like, just so annoying to hear because I was so annoyed by it, but yeah, I always envisioned if I had kids, I would also work, and I mean, I've been in the entrepreneurial space for like 13 years. I basically only had like one or two real jobs when I was in my 20s. I pretty much started working for myself immediately. So I've always like loved work, like loved the work that I did. I've always found a way to like pair it with just like passions and helping other people. And it's always brought a lot of meaning to my life. And so I never imagined that, that much would change. And having kids changed everything. Like I want to spend way more time with my kids than I do. When I had Bennett, my business was running at like full throttle. I was trying not to work 40 hours a week because that's like kind of one of my values. But it was like hard not to, honestly. And I tried to have like a 3-month maternity leave, but I kept getting called back into situations. It was very stressful. And after that period, I just suddenly like was like, I have to make a change. I have to change the way I like run my business so that I can meet this season of life because I was really like pulled in two different directions. And so, yeah, it's just changed everything. And I've just had to like figure out how to restructure things and like, what do I want that to look like? And how much help do I need to make that happen? And working from home has been like such a gift because I feel like, even when I am working, unless I'm on a meeting, but even sometimes when I'm on a meeting, like, the boys know they can always walk in my room, they can always come up to me, they can always come get me, and for me, that's really, really, really important. So, yeah, I feel like that's the broad answer to that question is just it really changed everything, and I'm so grateful. I It's so funny, I feel like I don't know, like, with mom stuff, sometimes you feel, like, a little, like, guilty saying some things.
Yes. Yes.
Because everybody's situation is so different,
Mhm.
but I'm so grateful for the 20-year-old that of me that was so obsessed with, like, freedom and, like but more so I could, like, travel. I was, like, just wanted to travel the world and things like that because I set up a career that allowed me to change with different seasons of my life, and I didn't realize that it was way more valuable now and
Mhm.
would be more valuable to me now with little ones than it ever was as, like, a 20-year-old trying to, like, travel the world. And I didn't foresee that, and so I'm really grateful that I set this up before I had kids, and I know not everybody did that,
Mhm.
because it just gave me a lot of time and experience under my belt before also, like, navigating children, which I, like, have so much more respect for now because 'cause I'm like, "Oh my god,
It's hard.
to be starting while you have kids is a whole beast that I did not experience, and I have so much respect for people who do, so, yeah,
Yeah, it is hard. It is
so hard.
hard, and I agree, like, sometimes I hesitate because you don't wanna make people feel like you're judging them or you're, like, saying your situation is harder than theirs, but I tell people when they're, like, don't have kids, I'm like, Your hard is valid, but it's a different kind of hard." Like, it is, like, in your bones, tired, like, your body's still recovering from giving birth, and you're still trying to it's just this, like it's a different kind of hard. And it's like it doesn't feel like it gets easier. You just figure out how to navigate it better as they get a little older and a little older, right? It's funny because when you describe that, it's like I had kids when I started my business, but in a sense, I can relate to how you feel about having this specific life and then all of a sudden you have little ones and it changes because mine were older. So they weren't, it wasn't the nursings and the exhaustion and being up all throughout the night with teething, which is my current situation right now. And like they were able to like go and watch a movie or go to a friend's house or go to classes because I homeschool, and so we're in a few different co-ops. There's some nature co-ops and a lot of fun stuff. And so I could drop them off to co-op for the day and come back and focus and work. And then, 11 months ago I had a baby. So now I'm kind of in that where I'm relearning. I'm like, oh, the 2 older ones are busy. Yes, they help out when they can, but I am primarily his caregiver during the day. So I can't sit at my desk for 8 hours or 6 hours, whatever I want, so that brings me kind of to my next question is, what does that look like for you right now in your home on a typical work week? Like, are you working during naps? Are you working when the kids are in bed? What does that look like for you right now?
Yeah, and it's crazy. The other thing that I remind people, especially with like little ones, is that it changes so like every few months it changes. You get in a rhythm and then it changes because they're just changing constantly. So right now, currently, Bennett, my 2-year-old, goes to a little forest school, which is like a little outdoor program. And it's so cute. He loves it. From like 8:30 until 12:30. And then he comes back, eats lunch, takes a nap, and then is up around like 4. And then my 1-year-old is here all day and then goes down for a nap at like 1 and then also wakes up around 4. So currently, actually, we have a nanny who comes. We usually, me and Ben take Bennett to forest school. This is also, I wanna say, like, the first pregnancy where I, like, took care of myself was able to take care of myself. So, I'm really grateful for the way I've, like, restructured things because I was like, "I have to take better care of myself this pregnancy." Like, that's my main goal. So, we actually, like, drop in at forest school. Asher's with our nanny. We go to the gym. We grab stuff for lunch and to cook dinner, and then we pick up Bennett from forest school, and then we come back and we eat lunch together and put them down for a nap. And then I work for like 4 hours until they wake up from their nap. By then Macy's gone, our nanny. And then I do the evenings. And because we actually had the fires in California, our house burned down, we moved to North Carolina. Ben is working West Coast hours. So that's why which has been like kind of amazing because now we have these like mornings together that we've never had before. And they're just like so nice. Like all morning I'm hanging out with my husband, which is incredible. And sometimes we, like, work out here, and we sauna, and we cold plunge, and it's just, like, I don't know, like, the quality time with him has been so, so special. I love him working West Coast hours, except for I lose him in the evenings. So I do evenings by myself with the boys, which is really fun, but Ben's usually working. Pops out to have dinner with us, and so, yeah, I put him down at, like, 7:30, and I have the evenings we usually wander around, feed the chickens, feed the fish, and it's really nice. So, I'm around, like, all the time, helping with, like, meals and getting out the door and naps but we definitely have help, like, for sure, and I foresee that while they're, like, still this little because I don't really know. I mean, when they're taking 2 naps, I could get work done during naps. That's what I did with Bennett when he was on the 2-nap schedule because he would take 2 two-hour naps, and that was a period of time where we didn't have a nanny, and I got work done just during his naps. It was so stressful, though.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and that's not how this has always looked. Like, it took me 3 babies to figure it out. With Bennett, I was so stressed trying to get everything crammed into naps, and also we had help then too, but I was working. I mean, it was and I couldn't I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't working out. I was a hot mess. So, it literally took me 3 babies to figure out how to get to a place like this.
Yeah, I mean, that's
So, yeah.
currently where I'm at. I'm at 2 naps right now with Boone, our son, and it's hard.
That's a sweet spot for working, I think.
It is, but I struggled a little bit because he doesn't nap as long with 2 naps. So he
Mhm.
naps like an hour and a half and then like an hour, and that makes it hard. So, like, I actually struggle with that the last few months. It's because, like, I have a hard time turning off my mom brain. So, like, if I'm going to sit at my desk and go to my office, right, I first I'm like, I put him down and I'm like, I gotta load those dishes. I gotta like move over the laundry first. I'm gonna grab myself a high protein snack. I'm gonna like, and then I get all set up, and then all of a sudden you hear like, Mama through the monitor, and you're like, oh crap, he's up. Like, so I struggle with
Yeah,
that. I've had to
hours, no time.
Yes, and so I have to, like, make myself, like so I've actually, like, pivoted a little bit. I only do meetings like this right now is during a nap time. I only do meetings or YouTube chats or like anything like that during the day. And then I've been just working at night. So he's in bed at 7:30. I hang out with my
Mhm.
son until 9. He goes to bed at 9. My older son, he like loves his sleep. Don't worry, I don't make my 17-year-old go to bed at 9. He goes to bed at 9 because he loves to sleep. And so he goes off to bed, and then I pull out my computer and I work for maybe an hour, hour and a half, and then I go to bed. So it
That's like that's incredible. I could not do that. Like, that's the
really
reason you have to find what works for you.
yeah,
No, my brain like, literally, my brain, I am, like, not my brain is gone at, like, 4 to 5 p.m. I'm just like,
really.
I don't know. Yeah. I would have to wake up early and work before everybody woke up, like, for sure, and I've
Are
done
you a
that.
night
I did
person though? Like,
no,
are you no,
no.
you're not.
I'm, like,
Okay.
9 p.m. bed girl and, like, can't have meetings past 4 because 'cause I'm just like, "What are we talking about?" Like so, but I so for me, whenever I had times where I had to do that, it always had to be the morning.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's probably the
But, like,
difference though. Like, I'm a night person.
oh,
So,
you're
like,
like
even when I was a single mom and I was working, I was like housekeeping and doing a ton of cleaning jobs during the day, and I was studying your course at night. I would do it at night. Like the kids would fall asleep on me in bed and I'd have my computer out and I made myself do it like every night. So that's like, I actually hate waking up early in the morning. So it works for me.
that's
So
why you have to make it work for you, for sure,
exactly.
you know? There's just so many ways to do it, and, finding the time to do it when you have the energy and, like, the
Yes.
brain power
Yeah.
is key. But that's the thing about it is you get to change it with every, like, season of life. You get to shift it, and figuring it out takes time. Like I said, it took me 3 pregnancies to figure out how to, like, take care of myself and not feel like I was losing my mind, so not that that's the most encouraging thing to say, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure when Boone goes to one nap, I'm actually going to find that easier for me to sit down and focus for a couple hours. And then I won't have to work at night anymore. I can have a little bit more time with my husband. The one thing you were saying though, I feel like I didn't know this. I actually didn't know if Ben worked out of the house or his hours and stuff like that. So we have a lot in common there too. My husband works from home and he gets up with me. He helps me with Boone in the morning. We all have breakfast together as a family. And then, like, he says, I got to go to work. And he literally goes to his office and shuts the door. And I try to be respectful because he has meetings throughout all the day, but he pops out every little bit and he always has lunch with us. And then he's done at 5 o'clock. He makes sure he's done, he logs off. But yeah, he'll come out for lunch, or if I've got a doctor appointment, he'll come out and be like, hey, I've got a slow day today, instead of taking Boone with you, why don't you leave him home with me and let him have some time with me and you go by yourself? So it's like we're kind of tag teaming all day, and it's really nice to have that time together and feel like a team. So
so nice. Like, I could this, like, brings me to tears every
mm,
time, but I'm just so grateful that our boys get to have their dad around because I think it's more it's less common, right?
oh yeah.
Um And Ben also has I actually got the thing from Ben where we try to if unless like, literally, unless we're on a meeting, if the boys wanna, like, say hi to us, we always say hi. I got that from Ben because he has some pretty, like, strong memories of his dad working from home, but being completely unavailable,
Mhm.
and it kind of, like, confusing him and being, like, just, like, kinda heartbreaking, honestly.
Yeah.
So, for Ben, it was like, "I will say hi if I can." And so I kinda, like, stole that from him. I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's good, that's good." So, yeah, it's just so nice. Like, we do all breakfast, lunch, and dinner pretty much. We get to eat together, which is, like, so special.
And nobody I feel like it's becoming more and, less of a thing. Like, everybody's so busy. A lot of times today, both parents need to work, and they're both out of the home. Kids are at daycare, and there is no judgment on that. Like, you have to do what is best for you, but at the same time, like you said, to be able to be home and be the one making breakfast and, like, not missing anything through the whole day, like, that's what I crave, and to be able to have it is such a blessing. So, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, and Ben's, like, came about kind of mistakenly, like, it was not he's a lawyer, so
Mm,
very much expected to be in the office, in courtrooms, and COVID changed that, and then we moved to Miami briefly, and he had to negotiate with his law firm to be able to work remote, and so then when the fires happened, he was able to just, like, go remote again, and so that's unusual, and I'm just yeah, like, sometimes you look back at things because that move to Miami was hard and rough and not good, and we struggled hard, and obviously the fires were hard too, but you look back at things like that, and you're like, "That was, in some ways, a massive, massive gift," because it gave Ben the flexibility to be home in a career that does not allow for that.
yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And you're living a lifestyle that I am like that you already know. Like, your lifestyle right now is my dream. I'm going to be there one day, okay, with you. I'm gonna have chickens.
A whole neighborhood had to burn down for me to be here. Like, it's like I sometimes am like, "How did this happen?" Ben's like, "Did you set the Palisades on fire?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "What?" Like, he's like, "'Cause we are living your dream." And I'm like,
I know whenever you post, like, Instagram things of him, like, with, like, out chasing the ducks in the or just, like, laughing so hard.
every morning, every night, we're outside chasing ducks and chickens and feeding fish. It's cold right now, but in the summer spring, summer, and fall, Bennett has naked waterfall time, he's dubbed it. He's like, "I wanna have naked waterfall time." He gets naked and swims in
I
a waterfall.
love
Just
it.
like, "How did this happen?"
I love it. I love it. That is my dream is we wanna have a nice piece of land, a nice simple home. We wanna raise the kids with animals outside, a big old garden, all of that. So whenever I see your stuff, it's always so inspiring. I'm like, one day we'll be there. One day. I just know it.
It's weird because it came about in such an insane way, you
Really.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like, losing your home and having everything you own burned down is, like, an experience I would not wish upon anyone.
No.
Yeah, sometimes I'm just like, "Did" yeah.
How are you doing with that? Do you feel like the lifestyle you're living now and, like, the home you're in now and all that is kind of part of that beautiful healing process, right? Because you go through something like that and you end up in a home or a place that you just absolutely hate or is miserable, and then you're just living in this trauma and reminder of what you had, and I feel like you've turned this chapter into something so incredibly beautiful.
So Ben and I often look back at like so many things that have happened in our lives that were like, if this didn't happen, this didn't happen, this didn't happen, like everything would be so
Mm,
different. Like, for example, him being able to work remote. So many people who's lost homes during those fires were, had to stay in LA because that's where their career, their job is. And the scramble on housing was insane. Like people were price gouging. Like, I mean, like people were charging like $40,000 a month for like rentals and crazy, crazy, crazy stuff.
wow.
That I was just when they're not worth it, when they're like should be eight.
Yeah,
Like that's how bad it was. It's calmed down a little bit, but it's definitely still it was
that's
nuts.
bad.
And so, I mean, this is my favorite place. I went to college here. That's why we had a place here. I was always pushing to like spend a lot of time here, to spend at least a few months a years here. That's why we had a house here. We were Airbnb-ing it out and just really waiting for the boys to get older to be able to come here more. So to me, this is like literally the most healing place. And I've always been trying to figure out how to get here as much as possible. So we got so like so lucky, like so, so, so lucky. And so it's been super healing. And I think also, when you're just like when you're among so many people who's lost so much, and you hear all their stories and stuff, it's impossible just, like, not to compare. We got to a place where, like, I feel like we have, like, almost no right to complain. Like, we have a place to live. Our boys are really young, because that's the other thing is so many people navigating that with, like, high schoolers, like,
That's
I can't
serious.
even
I mean, that's like counseling
they're dealing
and
with our grief and their grief and just, like, all the things that come with that, like, I'm like, we very quickly were like, It's tough. It's sad, but it's like, we gotta just get to the other side of
yeah.
this because yeah. So it's just it's a really insane experience. But yeah, I feel like we've just really focused on all the blessings as much as we can, and there are a lot. And Ben misses LA. He wants to go back, but we'll see.
He might miss those ducks once he's gone or that
Funny.
waterfall.
Every time he gets here, he's like, "Ah, it is quiet though and nice. And you can see the stars." And I'm like,
Yep.
"So fun."
So, first of all, I'm just, I'm super happy that those things have lined up for you guys because, Audrey and I both followed you through all of that stuff, like kept up with it. We're praying for you guys. We watched the heartbreaking stuff that you posted, just, being so open and real and honest about it. And I think, yeah, like you said, just what a blessing to be able to say, this is our situation now. And like all this happened, but we're in a beautiful place. And, like to see something not good, but find good from it. That's a true testament of like a healthy mindset, a healthy spirit, right? To be able to find that in that. So I think that's, yeah, incredible. I can't imagine
It's just so much work. Like, it's like you could look at it and call it luck, but it's like, no, that was, like,
more.
decades of actual hard work and setting stuff up. Like, freedom was always my focus in mind, and flexibility, and wanting my kids as close to nature as possible while having married an LA boy. It was all planned, it was all hard work. It just yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
So, what are some boundaries are a big topic. It's something Audrey and I are always talking about with people. We just did a workshop recently. There's our coaching calls, a lot of those conversations come down to boundaries, whether it's with clients, right? Like not setting clear boundaries and expectations, boundaries with your own time over delivering. So, this is work, right? But it can also pour into your personal life, obviously. So, do you have any boundaries? Like these are strict boundaries for the season of life that you're in right now?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, you know, the way I describe how my life is really a series of boundaries that kind of came about through I don't know if you wanna call it mistakes I made along the way, trying to navigate motherhood and career, or at least just, like, lessons learned. But also I think it was, like, a priority shift, you know? Before I had kids, I had this thought that I would be able to just, like, do it all. I think they kinda, like, sell that to you on online, the, like, boss babe, like and then when you realize, like, how much they need you, you're like, "That's not
Mhm.
really possible."
Yeah.
So, yeah, so, like, it's so weird, I still feel a little guilty about it or something, just guilty that I know, like, not everybody has it, but the, like, working out every day thing, like,
Mhm.
that's a boundary. And also, I should say, like, I have massively downsized my business. Like, I am not making the money I used to make at all.
Yeah.
Like, I have massive like, I mean, honestly, in the last year, my business has basically broken even.
Yeah.
I've just,
You're
like,
okay with
decided
that. Yeah.
yeah, this is just not the season for making money.
Yeah.
Luckily, we can do that, Ben has, like, taken a step forward and taken on more work to kind of compensate for that, but yeah, it's all basically boundaries. It's like, this is the season for taking care of myself, for taking care of my boys, and I will have another season of, like, hardcore entrepreneurship, I'm sure, but it's just
Yeah.
not happening for me right now.
Do you have
Um,
boundaries with, like, your team? Like, because you have a team to help you.
Really mostly because we kind of all set the expectation with the team that the boundary is you are responsible for getting online when you wanna get online and, like, checking messages when you check it. So people will be, like, messaging you, but you don't need to always be online. Like, it's up to you to, like, turn on your Slack and or open your Slack, and so everybody has their notifications, like, basically turned off because that's how we are. Because then you're just, like, kind of always working and you're distracted and not in, like, in 2 minds. Um And so, no, like, I mean, they don't they just, like, do their thing whenever they're on, and they know that I'm on basically from, like, noon to 4 East Coast time every day, and that's when they
Yeah.
can expect a response, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
Audrey and I have had to learn this with Inbox Academy is like we want to be helpful. We want people to be able to email us and students and things like that. But realistic expectations are if somebody needs something today, like I have a client call today, can I get your advice on this document? So yeah, that's something we're having to navigate as well.
So I set this expectation and Write Your Way to Freedom pretty early on, but I used to call it client karma.
Mm,
And I would need to treat your vendors, your people that you work with the same level of respect you would hope your clients would treat you with. So you would not want a client to come to you and say, "Excuse me, can you I have a client, I have a call tomorrow. Can you please, deal with this right now?" Like, wouldn't you hate that? No, that's not why we're setting up businesses and acting like business owners. So therefore, apply that same philosophy to the people that you work with, respect their systems, their procedures, how they set things up because they set it up so that you can get a high quality response. And yeah, that was something I struggled with in the beginning too. Like a big one for me is like everything goes through my email. It's so funny. People email me at Sarah Turner Agency thinking that's actually me. And I'm like, no, that is not me. That is a basically unused email. And if you email me there, I might not see it. But if you email freedom at Sarah Turner Agency, it will get a response in a timely fashion because, I mean, not only am I in that inbox, but so is my team because they just like we help each other like stay on top of things that way. But yeah, so people would like DM me and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't check DMs.
mm.
I don't check DMs. I mean, I do every now and then, and I'll always like literally probably less than once a month. I'll check DMs on Instagram. I'll check LinkedIn, even within the community. And I'm like, sorry, you got to email me. Like, I'm not dividing the way I go about this because it all adds up and it makes it more time consuming. Your responses are less quality because you're like sprayed out in so many directions. And like, that's okay. So,
I've had people say this to me like, "Oh, I thought you just seem real genuine and authentic and you'd be able to reply and give me advice on this." Someone literally said this to me on Instagram recently and I was like, "You messaged me 2 days ago and I haven't even been on Instagram in 2 days and my baby is cutting its 2 front teeth." Not that you even need to know all this, but like I am barely staying alive right now in my house. Like, you know what I mean? Like this wasn't even a student. That was just someone that had been following me and wanted some advice and I was like, boundary.
yeah. Well, it's like being genuine and authentic has nothing to do with how fast I respond to you.
Yeah,
Those 2 are not related at all,
yeah,
actually.
yeah. Yeah, so that's fun. I'm sure you've had to navigate that, a lot in your
So
businesses.
many.
Yeah. Audrey and I, we are in Corsia Collective, and that is Sarah's course for helping people become course creators and make their own products and such. And it has been fantastic. We absolutely love it. So, not only has Sarah been there for me completely as becoming a copywriter, but then when Audrey and I were ready to take this step into creating Inbox Academy, we've been able to have you as our mentor. And we're just so incredibly grateful for that. But it has been a whole learning process, right? To go from being a copywriter to, specifically niching into email marketing and then now creating a course to teach other people the back end and all that stuff of email marketing. You have just been so valuable for us. And even just this advice right now, I'm like, okay, we need to make sure we're always resetting like our mind frame of how we handle these messages and how people reach out and how I love the client karma thing. Like we're definitely gonna steal that and use that concept because I think
If that's like,
yeah,
you'd be so annoyed
yeah,
if a client did that to you, so why would you do that to
yeah,
someone else? Yeah.
seriously. I would love if you could share with the other moms out there, what do you wish more moms knew about this, about blending entrepreneurship and motherhood? What is something you could say to them to kind of
Mm,
encourage them?
yeah. So I've really come to believe that if you don't want to work a 9 to 5 and go into an office and be completely separated from your babies all day long, entrepreneurship is like the only option, like truly. And the times when people don't believe that, in my experience, is usually it's because they have an idea of entrepreneurship that is usually a little outdated or based in just kind of like the caricature of entrepreneurs that has existed for so long. Because in today's world, there's just like so many options and opportunities for like making money, just so many. And they're always changing and there's always new ones that, you can find something that works for you. So I would say the thing that I wish more moms knew is that like the opportunity and the structure and the lifestyle that you want is possible and exists out there, but it does require spending some time thinking outside of kind of what you were traditionally like taught and looking outside the prescribed path. I think people get in their own ways, thinking like that they can't be their own boss or even thinking things online are scams. Like I'm seeing this big thing about people thinking online courses are like MLMs, and there are some that are structured like MLMs. I'm just like, oh no, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like, it just takes some thoughtful time to really examine like what you believe and what is actually real. Because if you just think that things are not possible for you like right out the gate, you get yourself stuck. And so many people are stuck because of their own thoughts about things, and it's so sad to me. So you can structure things to fit your season of life, and it will change and it will look different. And it is like when you've gone through the traditional school system where everything has been like you do this and then you do this and then you do this and then you outsource your authority to a figure who's like, you're doing it right. Here's your gold star. Here's your check. You've basically been conditioned to not trust yourself. And this whole process is about self trust and just like alignment. And that is an experiment ultimately that changes throughout different seasons of life. And so that can feel scary when you're not used to it, but it's like the action and like the practice of like looking for the things, trying the things, deciding that's not for you, trying something that and then finding the thing that is for you, like that is the process. And there is something I really believe for almost everyone. Um it's just like I went on a little bit of a rant. Got off my soapbox now.
No, it's beautiful. I'm glad that you shared all that. I agree. I think I could have been one of those people. You know what I mean? Like I could have been, you said a few things to me that really stood out while I was going through my stuff. And just for anybody that doesn't know, I was a homeschooling mom of two kids. My husband walked out and I had never worked. I was a stay-at-home mom at that point. He had actually asked me to homeschool. I actually dropped out of college or pulled out to homeschool. He kind of convinced me to wait till he retired from the military to then go back and get my degree when the kids got older. So here I found myself like a single mom, two kids, no college, and like no experience in a job, and him telling me, figure it out. You figure out the mortgage, everything. And it was COVID. So we tried to get into court for court to say, like, no, you can't just walk away. Like, you have to help with bills. You have to, like, whatever. And we couldn't get in court. It was like a year and a half. And so no one to hold him accountable. And so I had to be completely on my own with two kids. And thankfully, once we got into court, everything was made right. But that was just the situation I found myself in. And I remember I came to you and we were talking, and you even said something. I said, I don't want this to work. This has to work. Like, there's no other option. This has to work for me. I found what I'm
Mhm.
doing. I invested, and this has to work. And you were like, I find that the people that have like a fire under their butt to get things going and don't sit in those like mindset issues too long are people that like have to put food on the table, or like there's just no option for them. And there's people that do it all the time, but there's also a lot of people that are stuck. And I think just to determine like I can do this, I don't have to be great at it. I think you said that to me once actually. You were like, there's really, really great copywriters out there that are, like, barely making enough money every month, and then there's crappy copywriters out there that are actually, like, following a strategy and they're making a killing. So, like, you can absolutely make good money and like actually be a good copywriter and make even more, like the sky's the limit. And I thought to myself, like, I don't have to have it all figured out as soon as I dive in. It happens with experience and as I go. And so when I would mess up, I would give myself grace and I wouldn't sit there and beat myself up. I'm like, I ain't got time for that, like I just don't have time to feel bad about this client who didn't like the copy I wrote. Like, let's figure out why they didn't like it and I'm going to fix it and then I'm going to learn something for the next client, right? So, yeah, I'm really thankful for that advice from you too, and I agree. I think mindset is one of the biggest things we talk about with our students. Is there anything you still do? I know I shared with you a while back, but I still do my morning routine. Sometimes I fall out of it with like a nursing baby and I'm exhausted and I sleep till baby sleeps in the morning sometimes. But when I get out of it, man, do I feel it. Like I feel so out of like I'm just out of whack. And when I get into my routine, I have like a peace and a strength in my day. Has that changed for you too? Do you have like a morning routine that maybe is different right now in the season with the kids?
Yeah, I wanna say one thing though about the stuff you said before, because I can't help myself. Because I really believe that there is a gift in desperation, because
Mhm,
desperation will cause you to do things that you wouldn't otherwise do because you're uncomfortable,
mhm.
and the people, crazy enough, that I have seen struggle the most, who are in my, like, mentorships and stuff that I work with one-on-one, oftentimes, they don't have any kids. They sit and they're able to work like literally 10 hours a day. They're not doing anything else other than just grinding. And so I actually get them to kind of like cut their hours. I'm like, I want you to stop working at 3 p.m. I want you to sign up for like a class that you want to do and stop waiting for the financial success to like to do it. And I want like to basically reduce the amount of time that you have to sit in front of your computer and like smash your head against the keyboard, and it works every time. And they're always blown away because 'cause they're like, "I just thought that because I wasn't making it work, I needed to do more." And I'm like, "No, you need to make it such that you are efficient because you're just filling the time with things and it's depressing. So you need things that bring you joy." Like, anyway, so I don't know. So for anyone who's in a dark spot or in a rough patch, like, it really can be the biggest gift. And I know that that can be hard to hear, especially when you're like in it. But for me, the darkest times have always caused the biggest change and the best change in my life because it was like, okay, this isn't working. Something has to change. Um,
You're right, because it's like I only had a certain amount of time I could dedicate to it, so I had to work hard. I had to make it like I was ready to go. So what do you suggest? Like, get a gym membership, make sure you're taking care of your body, eat healthy, like, do other things
yeah.
to balance your life, and then when you sit down at your computer, you're focused.
Yeah, so when I work with people like that, because usually they do this massive, like, intake form, it's like a workbook that takes them hours. They always have, like, what are the some of the goals they want when they start actually, like, making the money that they wanna make. I start having them go and do those things. I'm like, "We're not waiting to sign up for the dance class. We're not waiting to, like, start going on dates. We're not waiting for insert, like, whatever that thing is that they want." And then I really have them reduce their hours to only working maximum 6 hours a day, and I have never had it not work, and every time they're like, "This is insane." And I'm like, "Is it though?"
Such
'Cause
a
truly, the people who have too much time struggle the most. It's crazy. They struggle the most.
Yeah, like, this is even for me right now, I'm like,
You're like, "What?"
I know this, like, I but how you're putting it together is, like, a different frame for me. It's like, I viewed, like, oh, people that are, like, desperate and have this time restriction, they're like, sometimes that's the fire under them, and that's what helps them to go. But, like, you're right, it's like, what do you do for the people that don't, but they still need it to work, but they're not worried about how to get food on the table. Maybe their husband is bringing in the money, but they wanna contribute for the extra,
Or
and
they're living at their parents' house, so they don't have, like, the
yeah.
bills, so there's, like, that pressure, so it's like, they think they're stressed because 'cause they're ashamed of where they are, but they're not, like, as
Yeah.
stressed as somebody in a different situation, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, if you could sit at your computer 8 hours a day, but if you're not feeling the sun on your face and you're not eating good foods and you're not happy and laughing and in community when you log off, like, that's gonna bleed
Like, what are
into
you
your
doing
work.
it for?
Yeah.
And then because so many of those people feel like they don't have a right
Mhm.
to any of the joys that they're, like, working towards until they achieve that,
Wow.
and then but it's the opposite, and I'm not having them, like, go put a down payment on a house. It's all little stuff. It's like taking dance classes, doing clay pottery
Mhm.
classes. You need to do something for your soul. Like,
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. So do you do anything daily or I know you said working out is definitely good for your soul and you're like yeah.
being outside, working out and being outside when I'm not pregnant, mountain biking. Before I got pregnant this time, me and my husband were mountain biking like twice a week in the morning instead of going to the gym. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Hiking, just being in the woods. I'm a nature girly.
Yeah, me too. I love fishing. That's my thing. So I make
Yeah.
time to go. I have a little John boat and I just go out on the little reservoir and I fish.
I need to pick up a pregnancy, like, you know,
Hobby.
compatible
Mhm.
hobby.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll pick up fishing.
Fishing or yeah, it's probably something you wanna do on your property, but I love fishing and kayaking are like my things, especially kayaking for the sunset or the sunrise. It's like I love just being on the water. So
In LA, I sailed every Wednesday night. I was on like a sail,
oh, that's nice. Yeah.
but sailing's another one.
Such good advice. I'm so glad you shared all that, seriously. I know that advice is gonna help so many people right now in this season of life, whether it's motherhood or just you having all that free time.
Yeah. And then to really quick answer your morning
Yeah.
routine thing, just to be like, so I have had a morning routine that I was religious about basically for 10 years. In the last year and a half, I have had no morning routine. And it's interesting because it's like I've sat down to do it. And I think because I'm so in such a period of transition, I find myself like not knowing kind of what I want. Like, I'm like, like I don't almost know what I'm working towards. And so I'm consuming all this information. Like I'm reading the book The Power Pause. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's
Yes.
about like taking career breaks to like raise children. I'm reading a book called Being There about like motherhood in the first 3 years of baby's life. I just took a little workshop about like called the in between. So I'm just like I feel like I'm in this really weird in between phase where basically I'm experiencing I think like an identity shift. And so I don't have a morning routine because when I sit down to create one, I'm literally like, I don't know what I want, which has never happened to me. So for me, morning routines have been very confusing, which is the first time I've ever experienced that in my life. So
But it's also at the time that you have this balance and this like really like like we talked about before, you have this really healthy mindset of like how everything that's happened has put you where you are now and you're grateful
true.
and you're happy and you're blessed and you have the babies and another baby coming. So I feel like sometimes in those seasons it's almost like where we can pause and have that time to like figure out our
Yeah.
of our identity, you know?
Yeah, it has just been weird because it is this thing that I've like taught on for like 7
Yeah.
years, participated in for 10 or 13 probably, and have never felt this way where I just like look at it and I'm like, I don't know what to do with you because I don't know what I'm going for here.
Yeah.
So,
Mine has changed. I used to like again, you kind of taught me that like a smaller routine is more doable and you won't skip it instead of a big one. So I always had just like 10 minutes where I would,
mm,
have my coffee I take a quick walk outside, sit out in the sun, put my feet in the grass, and then I would journal. And so mine was like a prayer journal. And I would basically write a prayer down of like, kind of in that prayer of like what I was grateful for and not broad. I would try to like find specific things going on in that day or the day before or whatever. And then I would kind of like write out my prayers, and it's been really beautiful because I could look back now. So I have just like stacks of these like little cheap notebooks that I write them in. And I don't do it daily anymore. It's more like weekly for me just because the season I'm in. And it's okay. Like, but that's pretty much what I do. And I love it because when I'm in a hard spot, or I find myself in a hard like mental spot, like I just had a week like that a couple weeks ago, right? I found out 2 family members might have cancer, and then we had some other family issues. And so I was able to go back and I pulled out those journals and I could look at like, wow, look what has happened in this time frame in my life. And I absolutely believe big things can happen for these people as well. Like it just helped me to like have hope for not just myself, but for other people. So it's something I try to do. I actually do it now for the kids. It's something I started. I have
feel like
a
I'm gonna do it with my
yeah,
kids. It's so funny. I've been saying "my
yeah.
boys" for, like,
You have a
my
girl
whole
now.
I know, because I refer to all 3 boys
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I'm like, "It's my boys, my boys," and Ben's like, "You have a daughter." I'm like still, like, comes out. Anyway, yes, I'm so excited to do it with my
Yeah,
kids.
I actually have 2 notebooks for each of my kids, and 1 notebook I write to them. So I
Mm.
write like in different like so for Boone since he was a baby, just you were born, this is how much you weighed, like, oh, like you do this cute little thing with your mouth and like maybe I only write in it once a month or whatever. And then for my older kids, I've continued and sometimes it's just a couple times a year, but I'll talk about like what they're doing and how old they are and stuff like that. But I write to them. It's like a love letter to them. And then it's supposed to be like my love letters their whole life to them. And then I have a second what was
We're
that?
ordering journals. I'm immediately ordering 3 journals after we get
Yes.
off this.
Yeah, I love it. Actually, they call it they call it the death note. They're like, "Oh, no, mom, are you writing in the death note one?" Because in the end of each notebook on the last page is a letter to them if I pass away. So it's like if I was to pass away in an accident or anything like that, like I always tell them, "You're not allowed to look at these notebooks till you're older and I give them to you, but remember, if something happens to me, the back page of each of yours, there's a note to you." And they're like, "Mom, don't talk about the death letter." I'm like, "It's okay, I promise." But I have a second notebook where I actually write prayers about that child. So I'll like write it out, whether, like they're going through teething or, thinking about their future or their future spouse or whatever age they're at. And so I have like these two different notebooks that I think one is more, the prayer one is more for me to reflect and like see how their life has evolved. But at the same time, I'll probably give them both of them when they get older. Someone else gave me the idea of writing to them. And I just thought, that in our career too, copywriting, all that, there's so much power behind words, and especially when they're used the right way. So for me and my routine, and then just also in a balance of life and my mindset, using words to like pour into my family that way has been such a blessing for me. So yeah, that's kind of what I do right now. It works.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think maybe I just need to get back to journaling and not making it so, strategic or
Yeah,
whatever, but the thing that I love about it is it's such a practice that anytime I'm having a rough patch, it's like what I do,
I
and
love that.
I think that's, like, honestly the most important part.
Mhm.
Because right now, life is, like, pretty chill,
Yeah,
so
yeah, I love that.
definitely yeah.
Well, I'm so happy you came on here and chatted with me today. So, how I like to end all my videos, and it's kind of what I just asked you, but a little bit simpler, if you could just put it into like a sentence or two. What is the piece of advice or encouragement you would give anyone in your season right now? A bunch of littles, maybe littles on the way, and they're navigating their business and motherhood. What is the one piece of advice you would give them?
You just have to give yourself so much grace, and I don't know, I'm, like, so conflicted about what I really wanna say. Because it's like because if you're in a situation where you really need to make money, like, that's really fucking hard because the 2 are not the most compatible, to be honest. Um, but yeah, I would say, like, okay, 2 situations. If you really need to, like, make it work financially and you have littles, you need to be so protective of your time and have such good boundaries with clients. And I just feel like so many moms are people pleasers and givers and caretakers because that's like what their heart is. And you just need to be a little bit like selfish and just relentless about only working with high quality people, only working with high quality projects, just like leveling up as fast as you can to protect your time. And if you have littles and you're trying to make it work and it's like not the biggest financial stress, just like give yourself grace and know that this season is like finite. Like I feel like I already can see it. Like I can already see the light at the end of the tunnel and I'm like, "Oh no." So just like so much grace and know that like yeah, I don't know. People that are really hustling with littles have help.
Yeah.
And if so it's like, if you have that, great. If you don't, more grace.
Yeah. And if you don't want to do that, even more
Yeah,
grace.
yeah. If you don't wanna do that, and you can, like, not do that, which is amazing, you know what I mean? There's so many situations that you can be in. Then yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a season. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what everybody kinda knows me for is I always say the grace thing, so when you said it, my insides were just like, "Oh, I'm so glad she said that," 'cause I
True.
we're so hard on ourselves and just grace in everything. Grace in, how you handled being a mom that day, grace with your children when they're going off the rails, grace with, yourself when that project didn't go how you thought it would, like just in every aspect of your life. Just remember that you're showing up and that job as a mom is so rewarding, so beautiful. You're pouring into human beings that are going to go forward in this world and make a difference in the world. And that is beyond any, to me, it's beyond anything you could do work related. So,
100%.
yeah.
So and I will one last little thing would be, like, hire a VA or somebody to do the, focus on the higher value tasks. Get a VA as fast as you can.
Yeah, put your energy where it needs to be and hire someone to do the things that are weighing you down. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Well, thank you so much for coming on today. I'm
yeah,
seriously
sorry my dogs are going crazy in the background all of a sudden. I don't know
I
if you
don't
can
hear
hear them.
anything.
I was like, "Perfect timing."
Well, I don't hear anything, but either way, I'm so grateful for your time and for getting on
Thanks
here.
for having me. It's always so nice to chat with you, so
Yeah,
appreciate you.
you're a wonderful mother, and so many people are just encouraged and inspired by you, me as well. All right, everybody, we're so thankful you joined us today. If you want to see more videos like this, just hit our subscribe button, and we will see you soon. Bye.